What's going on, good people? We are back with another review. Talking WrestleMania 36 this time. DJ here, Casey over there. Well, he's kind of over there. Nope, over there. With the bandaged up face. He said he took a steel chair to the face, and that's what happened. That's what we're gonna go with at least. Um,
Did
let's just give some overall thoughts about WrestleMania. I feel like as a whole, in terms of like, so when you put it on paper, this is probably one of the best cards I've seen in a while in terms of WrestleMania. In terms of like matches where we were like, well, that's dumb. There wasn't a lot of those matches here, and there of course there were a couple of like last minute changes. With Roman Reigns stepping out and Andrade getting hurt and stuff like that, and that kind of changed some matches up. But even in a way, some of their replacements, more so, having Braun in that match with Goldberg made for an intriguing match. Now, the contents of the match, But we'll talk about that when we get to that. Nonetheless, overall, I mean, I thought it was a good show. I definitely think night two has an edge over night one. I just think it was more complete. Even the stuff that we were kind of about in night two was kind of made up for in certain aspects. The only thing I didn't like about night two is Brock Lesnar should not be the main event ever. I think it just kills the entire, like, unless Seth Rollins is going to come out and cash in and make it a triple threat match, it completely kills all the vibe of the main event to me when he's in the main event. That's just me. Like, I mean, I like Brock for the whole, he's a star, blase, and it's cool that he gets a pop when he comes out. But like as champion or as the main event, if you're gonna just let him come out there, do 5 F5s and leave and get a big paycheck out of it, it's stupid to me. That's just my opinion. We could jump to that match if you want to, because I feel like we're just gonna gloss over that match anyway. But we'll probably start from the beginning. But just give your overall thoughts, and we can kind of get into whatever you want to as we go.
I think overall it was better than I expected it was going to be. Not a ton better than I expected it was going to be, just because at the end of the day it was, let's be honest, this wasn't WrestleMania. This was, to me, it was a glorified house show with no fans. I'm not, that's just how I feel about it. It was good. There was good matches. The card, like you said, on paper was awesome. Like, I'm just looking at this card, and if I didn't know the results and I didn't watch the matches already, I would be really intrigued about this show. But a lot of things you have to take into consideration with the fact that I feel like it didn't give me that feeling that WrestleMania is supposed to give you. One, there was an empty arena. And I think that killed a lot of the matches. I really do, especially for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the big issue I have with the Drew McIntyre, and we'll get to more into it when we get to that match, but overall, my big issue was that, when Drew beat Brock, and I had already seen spoilers because that was another thing. It was pre-recorded, so, like, people figured out, spoilers here and there somehow. I don't know how, because there was no fans there, so I don't know. But when he pinned Brock Lesnar, there wasn't like a pop or anything. And that's what you kind of, it's ingrained in you to like wait for that audible pop from the crowd, to get excited. And I didn't get excited for it. Like, I'm excited that he won, obviously, because I think Drew McIntyre definitely deserves it. But he won, and I was just like, oh, it's over. It wasn't like, oh my god, like that was a big major part in what kind of killed the show for me. It was just the fact that there wasn't that like electricity with the crowd.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they pulled it off because. And I was expecting them to eventually just cancel it anyway. Just because, like, the Raws and the SmackDowns that they've been doing have just been basically glorified, let's just replay pay-per-views. So I was like, I don't know how the heck they're going to pull off WrestleMania like this if that's what they're doing. Some of I didn't think it was as awkward as it seemed, and I guess, and that might be just be because we're just used to it at this point, I think, in a way. we're used to this empty arena stuff. AEW's doing it. I'm not sure what Impact's doing because they obviously have to pre-record their stuff. But AEW's doing it. Obviously, WWE's doing it. So it's like I think we've almost in a way gotten used to it. In some sort of fashion. But I think I'm glad that they were able to pull it off. But I still wish we could have waited because there was a couple of moments that were just kind of weird. But there was a couple of moments that made me think. Specifically, John Cena's thing with Bray Wyatt, and also Undertaker's thing with AJ Styles, where I wonder if they would have pulled that off in a live arena. Like, how would that have played out in a live arena? Is another thing that I was wondering that maybe was a little bit more beneficial because there was no crowd, because the crowd would have been like just sitting and watching, what was going on. And I also wondered, especially with Bray Wyatt and John Cena, if the in-ring stuff would have happened like in between what we were seeing on the screen, like too. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, and I think for one, the only reason it wasn't canceled or postponed to June or whatever, wherever they were hoping to postpone it to, is because they did pre-record it, and they pre-recorded it before Tampa was put on complete lockdown. That's the only way they got away with it. If they had waited and did it live, they would have it would have been shut down by the city, because you can't have. I think in most places now, you can't have more than 10 people in one place, and even that I think is gone down.
Well, I'm kind of even surprised they're doing Raw and stuff like that now, with that kind of regulation in place. Also, another thing just about the show in general, I feel like, and then we'll get into Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors to start the part one. I don't know if you watched the pre-show, but to start part one.
No, but I do want to go back and watch that match because that looks like it would be a good match.
Yeah, it does look like it would be a good match. I'll probably have to go back and watch it too. I was surprised they didn't do more with like technology, just in terms of like with the commentators and even like Gronk and stuff like that. Like have them somewhere. I mean, they could still be out, kind of outside somewhere or something, with webcams or something, or with remote cameras or something like that. Just to like make it feel like almost like Corona Mania, almost like make it feel like it already feels different because you don't have a crowd, but like to have the commentators maybe somewhere else, to have the hosts maybe somewhere else, and even Titus O'Neil when he came in, somewhere else and stuff like that. Like I think it would have just made it feel different, and I think that was kind of the point of this WrestleMania, was for it to feel different in a way, because he kind of had no choice but to make it feel different.
Yeah.
But Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross ended up defeating the women's tag team champions, who were the Kabuki Warriors. I thought this match was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think it was an interesting way to start the show. There were so many titles. I mean, I think it was kind of how you had to start the show, with like maybe a title match to kind of get everybody going. Well, everybody at home, I should say, going. But I mean, I thought the match was pretty good. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit. I mean, some of these matches, and I think we talked about this before, with not really keeping up with Raw and SmackDown like maybe we wanted to, or whatever. Some of these matches were like, oh, this match is happening, okay. So I feel like I didn't really know a lot about this match or about this storyline, and I don't think they really. I can't remember if they did a package for this or not, but. Nonetheless, I mean, it was a good way to start the show, I think. Casey, thoughts on the Women's Tag Team Championship match?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I don't know what it is, but I can't get into the Kabuki Warriors for some reason. I don't know if it's too gimmicky for me or what it is, but just something about them, I just can't get into it. Like I can't do it. But I love Alexa Bliss.
It's too goofy.
What?
Isn't it too goofy?
It
like,
is.
I just like this freaking ridiculous, like kick you in the mouth type of a wrestler, and then you put her in this. Even with, and I guess they're trying to mesh because Kairi Zane's a little bit more like nice and like like that or whatever. But then even when you turn her heel, you would think she would just kind of adopt the style that Asuka has, and they would just be kind of like the queens of strong style almost, and kind of just be like beating everybody up. But like I think it is, like you said, a little gimmicky, but I think it's also kind of goofy in a way. Like it's just like, and I think that's an issue. There's a couple of like goofy tag teams that you can run with. You got not the Usos, the New Day. You got kind of the Street Profits. They're a little bit kind of goofy and funny, but like you still can take them seriously. And I think sometimes WWE struggles with that. Some of their goofy type of gimmicks. Noah Jose is one of them that I can think of right off the top of my head, where you're just like, okay. So I mean, I don't know. I think that's kind of the issue with them right now. And I don't know, the women's tag team championships, for as long as we've waited for them, I just don't get excited about the women's tag team championships. And in a way, I kind of hate that because there was no NXT takeover, that we didn't get to see like the NXT title defended or something like that within this. And I don't know when. And I mean, there's no telling when the next NXT takeover may be. I can't remember right off. They even have it set right now.
Well, as far as the NXT takeover, I heard, and I don't know. I didn't actually check to see what the source was, so I don't know if it's how reliable it is. But I read somewhere that they're going to be doing the NXT takeover matches on like regular NXT TV over the next couple of weeks, which I don't necessarily like.
Why don't they just? I don't get that either. Why don't they just do what they did for WrestleMania and just do it that way? They already. I mean, if you can pull off in a way your biggest show of the year in front of an empty arena in the Performance Center, then I don't understand why you wouldn't.
But then also, I think you were mentioning something about a possible hiatus that WWE might be taking or might have to take, because everything non-essential is shut down. And
right.
I think at this point, even WWE is as powerful as they are, it's not like, as much as we love WWE and we love wrestling and we want to see it, it's not essential, and you're risking people still getting sick and spreading the virus.
I'm gonna let you start with Elias versus King Corbin, because if my computer goes dead, then we're kind of screwed here. And I know you have plenty to say, so I'm gonna literally walk like 2 feet away to get my charger. So I know you got plenty to say. So just dig right into it. I even make you mainstream here. I think I just made myself mainstream. Wow, this is horrible. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how this works. But anyway, you go ahead. Oh, that ain't weird. I don't know how to do this. Yeah, just take it away, Casey. This is I did it before when I didn't know what I was doing and I was just messing around with it. I knew what I was doing, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
WWE. Oh my! You did it. So WWE, they took 2 of my favorite wrestlers in the company currently. 2 of my favorites. I love them. And they put them in a match together because they knew I needed a bathroom break early in the show. I like to have my bathroom breaks early in the show, so I don't have to miss anything good later in the show. Yeah, I don't know. This match wasn't bad to me. It felt out of place. Like and it could be just because I haven't really been paying attention that much to Raw and SmackDown the past couple weeks or months, let's be honest. But it just, I was confused because the last time I really kind of was paying attention, fully invested in Raw and SmackDown, both of these guys were heels, and now I was like, okay, who's the heel and who's the face, and why are they in a match? And what is the storyline and why is he still a king? And
He's been king forever, man. He's gonna
so
be
many questions.
the forever king of the universe.
I think at this point he's been king longer than Booker T.
Right, right. Yeah, this match was kind of one of those why matches. I don't know. Like, I like Baron Corbin, but I don't like what they're doing with him. Like, it's just not working. Can we skip this?
They just throw him in random stuff and it just doesn't work.
They throw him in random stuff and he loses every time. Like, I get it. He's supposed to be the heel you're supposed to, like, hate, and when he gets beat, it's supposed to, but, like, if he never wins, then, like, why are we like, yeah, he lost? Like, we're always like, yeah, he lost, because that's all he does.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense because the whole psychology of like pro wrestling in general is, the heel is the major bad guy. The heel beats down the baby face, for week after week after week after week, and finally the baby comes back and finally defeats the heel. It's not what this is. This is just the heel loses and loses and loses and loses, then there's no point in cheering for the face because why? Like you're not giving us a reason to get behind the face or the heel. And to be honest, like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Can we continue? Because I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway, Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler was a good match, but it ended wrong. Becky should have lost. But I was talking to Casey. We were talking, kind of off air before the show, and we were like, well, I mentioned to him that I think a lot of the title changes that I think we expected didn't happen because there's no reaction. So like
Yeah.
a lot of seeing a big title change, especially somebody like Shayna Baszler, who's kind of got her popularity within the WWE fans in NXT. Everybody's like, oh, we want to see her, be champion, but you want to actually see it. You want to actually get a reaction from it. And I think that kind of hurt this match. I like what they're doing with Shayna, but I don't like the entire, like, I'm going to bite your entire neck off thing. Like, what? That was a little much. But other than that, like, I mean, because, like, she already comes off like she could beat you up anyway. So, like, do we have to have her biting necks out here? I'm just saying. But, the match was good. I like the match. I think both of these, ladies do good work. But I think the finish was a little bit different than I thought. And, of course, they did that typical leverage pin finish that they always do when the underdog wants to win. When they don't want to do, like, the roll up, they do the same little. But anyway, Casey, do you have any thoughts on Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler?
So this was DJ's favorite kind of finish ever. He loves it. I thought it was a good match. It just didn't end the way it should have. I think Shayna should have won, and it might have been just because there wasn't a crowd there, so you didn't get that big reaction that they didn't do it. But then that kind of like that makes me worry about a lot of these superstars because obviously it's out of WWE's control. WWE doesn't have the vaccine for the coronavirus, so they just have to ride this out. And when it gets better, it gets better. Hopefully sooner than later. But what I'm afraid of is all these guys and girls who are been getting pushes and been in these storylines, and now not saying that they're going to go on a hiatus, but if they do, even if they don't, just this is kind of pushing things back so much that I don't know if they'll still have that push when they finally get to the point where Shayna Baszler wins the title or something like that. But like I said, there's nothing that WWE can do about that. But it just it worries me.
And yes, Luis, they are still wrestling without an audience. I guess until the government's like, No, like I guess, like I don't know how long they're gonna go with it. We talked about it kind of earlier in the show. You know, it it's kind of benefited WWE, I think, a little bit because people are like, well, there's nothing else on. I might as well see what WWE's about. I have a friend who's since sport. Well, he started back watching a little bit before sports kind of took its own little hiatus. But he's like really into it, like the Edge and Orton thing. He was really into that, and Taker and Lesnar. I mean, not Taker and Lesnar. Lord, don't remind me. Taker and AJ. He was really into that and that whole match, and was entertained by the Firefly Funhouse match segment thing. But back to the triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships that could have easily just been a triple threat tag team match. Why? See what? And this same friend of mine was. We were talking last night, and he was like, "What they should have did was had a triple threat ladder match for one of the titles on the first night, and had a triple threat ladder match for the other title on the next night, and then have like John Morrison and Jey Uso as as the champions, and then they have to just deal with it." I was like, "Yeah, that would have been funny. They should have did that." And then eventually, an actual team that's actually teaming up gets it back. But and that would have been interesting to see how they did that. But they would have tried it, but I think without a crowd, like you can't really like work like that, I guess, because it wouldn't be as funny without the crowd being able to react to it and stuff like that. But basically, Miz and Morrison retained because they were all up there at the same time. Oos number one, because I still can't tell them apart. Oos number one and Kofi Kingston knocked John Morrison off, and they had the bracket that the title took on, and then Morrison had the title, so Morrison won. So that was, typical WWE finish in a ladder match. That's kind of like, especially with multi team, more than two, more specifically ladder matches. This is what WWE does. This is how they finish their matches all the time. Like it never fails. It's been a long time since we've seen like somebody just go up, climb up a ladder, and just get whatever they're supposed to get. It's always got to be something crazy and fun. Any thoughts on the triple threat ladder match that could have easily been a tag team triple threat ladder match?
Well, first of all, you skipped a match, you jerk.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Did I skip Sami Zayn? Oh man,
you did.
Let's go back to
it. I was like, wait a minute, what the? Yeah, I liked the match. I thought the match was great. I think Morrison and I think it was Jimmy. Out of all of them, it felt like most of the work. Like it felt like they were kind of the workhorses in the match, at least to me. So that was kind of cool. I am glad that Morrison and Miz retained. I do like them as tag team champions now. I know I had a love-hate relationship with Miz for a long time, but I don't know. I'm getting into this now. I like that they're tag team champions again. I like that they have that team back and that chemistry back. That bump onto the ladder for the finish though, you ain't got to do that though. Bro, you getting old. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do stuff like that.
Come on now. Bro. Jeff Hardy bump. Like, Jeff Hardy going to make that when he
80. but then, as soon as I saw both belts falling, I was like, oh, they're doing this again? Really? I don't know. Good match. Didn't like the finish, but I like that they retained. Just because I don't want to. I feel like I keep saying this, but I don't want to see the Usos or New Day as champions again. It's been too much.
Isn't it like seeing Charlotte as a champion? Anyway, Sami Zayn, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Actually, no, Sami Zayn with Shinsuke and Cesaro. we're going up against Danny Bryan with Drew Gulak, which I'm still trying to figure out Danny Bryan and Drew Gulak because I wasn't there when Danny Bryan like shaved his head and joined the Straight Edge Society or whatever he did. I wasn't there when he shaved the beard and whatnot, and I wasn't there. And I wasn't there when Gulak and him kind of got together, so I'm still a little confused by that. But I'm loving Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Shinsuke. Their little the way they work together, and they're interesting together because they're all a little bit off, like in a way. Like Sammy's the crazier one out of the bunch. Cesaro has kind of gotten that way, and Shinsuke's just out there. So I kind of like their little weird little three-headed monster that they are. Daniel Bryan and Gulak are interesting in the way that they are, but I don't know. It's still kind of weird because I don't really understand it. But this is for the Intercontinental Championship, and Sami Zayn somehow retained. But he did get touched. He said he might not have to because he had a plan in his head, but he did get touched at some point in the match. So, he plan kind of failed a little bit there. But I'm liking Sami Zayn right now. I was surprised when they gave him the title, but this little weird heelish Sami Zayn that's like better than everybody. I like it so far.
Yeah, I definitely like this Sami Zayn. I'm super happy he's still the champion. I still hate that belt. No, just go back to the old one, please. I don't like it. I really don't. Also, somebody said that Sami Zayn looked like Fidel Castro. And then I watched the match and I couldn't unsee it, just his gear. And I was like, yep, nope. But also, I personally don't like Sammy, Cesaro, and Shinsuke together because they remind me of back when, was it Sheamus, Rusev, and was it Wade Barrett?
I think so.
Where's again? It reminds me of that, and then I'm just like, no, stop. But definitely like Brian or Daniel Bryan, almost said Brian Danielson, and Drew Gulak together. I think that makes a good team. They're very kind of similar in their styles, and I believe they've worked together in the Indies, if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of cool. But the match was okay. I don't know. It just kind of, and I think it's just because of the whole situation of like the empty arena. I would have loved to see them like interact with the fans and like, do something, because I feel like Sami Zayn's that kind of wrestler or superstar that like feeds off the crowd and like whether they're booing him or cheering him, he feeds off the crowd well. And not to say that he didn't sell well without a crowd or anything, because he did, but it was missing for me.
So we got John Morrison. No, I'm kidding. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I know DQ match. I couldn't remember. Well, did this match wasn't originally no DQ, was it? Because didn't they end it? Was this match originally no DQ? Or did they restart it and it was no DQ? Because I could have swore that the bell rang and Seth.
I think they did restart it as a no DQ.
Yeah, and then Kevin Owens ended up winning. This match was good. I didn't like the initial finish to it. I didn't realize they had restarted it. This is a match I'm probably going to go back and watch again. I'm liking the Monday Night Messiah thing that Seth Rollins is doing. He just comes off like a freaking prick anyway, so it goes with him naturally. He's almost as bad as Chris Jericho. They just come off as pricks, and it works. I'm waiting for the blonde streak to come back because it's got to. I mean, it's got to. I don't know if he's outgrown that or what, but nonetheless, hey, appreciate you joining us, Trent. We've been away, but I should put the comments on the screen. I can do that. We've been away, but we're coming back. We're coming back. Okay, we're coming back. He says we need an Impact review. So I think he misses Rabbit specifically. But we'll definitely try to come back and do something. We haven't really been watching anything consistently. I think we've said that before. So we haven't watched anything consistently enough to be like we should review that. We've been kind of bouncing back and forth a weekly show of just like talking about wrestling or something, maybe just to have something on the channel. But and shout out to RC Reacts too for sharing the stream and whatnot. Casey, what were you saying? You had some words.
I did have some words, and I forgot what the words were.
Because you're old, guy.
But I'm not old. Shut
up. But I mean, I thought this match was good. That's about all of my thoughts on this match.
Yeah. I agree. I also want to go back and watch this match again. Just because, I mean, it's Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, like two of the best workers that WWE has right now. So
the feud, though, the feud was very like personal in a way. From some of the stuff that I watched of it, I didn't see all the build up of it, but it seemed personal and kind of real in a way.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like was that they did restart it as a new no disqualification match, and the only reason I don't like that is like on a normal show, I would be fine with that, or like on one of the smaller pay-per-views, I'd be okay with that to an extent, but WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year, and I feel like something like that shouldn't happen. If you're gonna have a no disqualification match, it should be built up to WrestleMania, not stop the match and then restart it as a no disqualification match. It doesn't feel right to do that at WrestleMania. It should have been booked as a no disqualification match to begin with. But I thought it was a really good match. I loved Kevin Owens coming off the WrestleMania sign. Somebody had to do it, and Shane O'Mac won't dare. So,
or Jeff Hardy, the typical ones weren't there. So
that reminds me, I'm gonna have. There was something I had to mention in the Edge Orton match, but I'll do that later. But yeah, it was definitely a good match. I definitely want to go back and watch it again. Just kind of anything that I missed that because I feel like anytime you rewatch a match, there's always something that you kind of missed from before. So definitely a match worth watching again, I think.
All right, Braun Strowman versus Goldberg. Okay, that's it for that one. The Undertaker. No, for the Universal title, Braun won by like hitting like 5 power slams. Goldberg hit like 3 spears or something to start the match. That's about how the match went. The one thing I don't like about Empty Arena and Goldberg is they didn't let him break through the door. Like, that's his whole thing. That's the only thing I was excited about was his entrance, and he didn't even get his pyro or nothing. It was just like, we're at a house show. Yay, nobody's here. No. I kind of hated that too. We didn't really get pyro for Mania, and it kind of sucked. Like,
yeah, Mania is the one time a year we get pyro. We didn't get it. I was so mad.
They're doing more pyro now, but like, I was upset. Yeah. Braun won. Probably won't hold the title long, but like it feels like we've been waiting for Braun to be Universal title or some sort of champion for the longest time, and like it's still like I think he did win the Intercontinental title or something crazy like that, but like the run was so we kind of don't expect a lot from him because like all of his hype is still there. But it was there like before when he should have won the title, like months ago when he should have won the title. When he was feuding with, I don't remember who it was at the time, but
who was it? Was it Lesnar?
Maybe I can't remember. But like he was over, and like WWE was like, nope.
Like, yeah, I think it was Lesnar. I could be wrong.
I mean, Lesnar's been the champion for ever. So, yeah. Thoughts on this match before we get to Undertaker versus AJ Styles in the Boneyard match?
The most amazing part of this match is I think this is the longest match Goldberg has had since he's been back. It was a whole 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
This
I
was
was
not
amazed.
better than Brock versus Goldberg though. Brock versus Goldberg was better, even though it may have been shorter. They did it right. Like this match
Yeah.
was literally like finisher. Like even in Brock's match, another one of our friends was like, "Don't you gotta like build up to your finisher or something?" And I was like, "Nope, Brock just hits it."
Nope.
Or Cena hit his. It was just out of nowhere.
Psychology goes out the window.
But to the Boneyard match, I'll let you start with this one. I overall thoughts. I loved it. I'm pretty sure Broken Matt directed this or something because this was like right in his wheelhouse. This was like something he would have did. Even the 5-5 Funhouse was something in his wheelhouse too. But we'll talk about that in part two. Thoughts?
Not. I don't think as much the Firefly Funhouse match, but this Boneyard match was an exact, and I mean exact copy of the stuff that the Hardy Boys did in Impact. From the random teleportation that didn't make any sense to the cinematography to like just everything was exactly the same. And I'm like, WWE, don't even try to tell me you didn't steal this, okay? And then conveniently after Matt Hardy leaves WWE, y'all some jerks, okay? Y'all some jerks. Is Jeff even in the company anymore? Like, I can't even
I
keep
think he is. I think he's just hurt.
Oh, again.
Yeah, I think he's still hurt. In the previous time.
That's his career anymore. He just hurt.
You know when they won the titles because that's how that works. Anytime they win a title, Jeff gets hurt every time.
Every single time. But yeah, I thought it was good. I think this was the perfect way to have Undertaker's last match.
Yeah, until next WrestleMania.
Yeah, last
Or
match.
whatever India show they do this year.
Yeah, but I think this, like I said, this is perfect. And this is one of the good things that came out of having the empty arena because they could do something like this. Whereas if it was in the stadium, they would have had to have done a more traditional match, and Taker doesn't need that. He's at the age where he doesn't need to do any more bumping. He doesn't need to do any more in ring wrestling. This was perfect for him, and I think AJ was the perfect opponent for him because he sells well, he puts him over. The acting was good because let's be honest, this was more of a like TV show kind of a thing than like a wrestling thing. So it was more acting and less pro wrestling selling acting. But I thought it was great. I was definitely entertained with it. I was a little bit confused at points, but it was fun. It was just fun. I liked it.
Yeah, I think this is entertaining too. I really, it really did like reek of Broken Matt to me. And I didn't see this coming for this match though. This was not like at all what I expected him to do. Because WWE's never done anything really like this, not like this. Even you think back to the Attitude Era when they had like boiler room brawls, it was like legit like a brawl. Where this was, more of a kind of sculpted and scripted type thing, where it was like to a T. We went out somewhere in some cemetery somewhere and recorded this or whatever. But it was good though. I liked it. I think the only better opponent that it could have been, it would have been like Sting or something. In terms of like for a last match, because that's like the match we've all been looking for and whatnot. For the longest time, like this is finally what we're gonna get, and then obviously everything happened with Sting. Um, Even though they're saying something about him potentially having one more match too, like everybody's getting cleared now, I guess. But it's interesting though, because it was an interesting way to end the show, to end this part one. Because it was different, and I think it was perfect, like you said, with the empty audience because you're not going to get kind of that cheering at the end of the show because there's nobody to cheer and nobody to boo. So it was kind of cool to end it this way. Kind of end it like you're literally sitting at home because we are watching WrestleMania. So I liked it too. But if we're ready to get into it too, just let me know.
Yeah. The only thing, like, one thing I liked and didn't like at the end was the after AJ was buried, his hand was kind of reaching out or sticking out, kind of like the old school Taker buried alive match, where his hand was poking out. But I kind of wanted like the camera to come back after Taker like drove off, and like his hand moved to kind of give something, because I think that would have been a good touch. But then again, everyone would have been like, "Oh, that means there's going to be a rematch." So,
all right. Continuing to part 2, we had Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. This is another one of those matches that I think just didn't go like it should have. It was a good match. This Charlotte Flair match felt a lot like Ric Flair to me. And it almost reeked of Triple H to me too a little bit. Like she was just so into pinpointing the leg, and trying to set up the figure 4/figure 8, which she didn't even lock in the figure 8. She just did the figure 4. I think, right? Or did she bridge back?
She did.
Okay, she did. Because that's what ends it, obviously, every time. That bridge, I'm telling you, it's going to snap the leg in half, bro. But, I mean, I hate it because Rhea Ripley almost like came off as unbeatable in the way that she's been booked in NXT. I wish it would have taken Charlotte 2 times because, I mean, for you to beat Charlotte, like if I went and beat Charlotte, it would like push me to the moon because Charlotte's like an 18-time champion at this point. So like for Rhea Ripley to beat Charlotte, I think it just I still think WWE needs to legitimize to other fans how big NXT is. And that's why I think Rhea Ripley should have went over at least once, if nothing else, and then have Charlotte win the next time. I think there's an importance in that because I think for some reason WWE is really weird about when somebody should win, they never do, and then they want them to win like the second time when it should be flipped. Like when the psychology of it should be flipped. The person that needs to go over should go over the first time, and then have the person who's more established go over the second time if you really want to do that. Same thing with with John Cena and Bray Wyatt the first time they fought. Back in 6 years ago or whatever at WrestleMania 30, Bray Wyatt should have went over definitely. In that, like, there's no mistaking that. But anyway, thoughts on Rhea Ripley and versus Charlotte? Charlotte's like a 45-time champion at this point.
First of all, you missed the match of the night. Clearly,
The pre-show match. I didn't know you watched the pre-show. I actually watched this match and it was good. I actually watched it. I just didn't know if you watched it, so I skipped it.
I didn't even see it. The only thing I didn't like is, and it's something that I don't like about WWE's change in booking. From and they did this. They changed this like a while back, but now I guess supposedly the NXT titles are supposed to be on the same level as like the main roster titles, which I'm completely against because I think NXT should still be treated as developmental, or it should be what it was. It's developmental. It's where you work your way to get to the main roster. And with that mindset, it threw me off because I'm still looking at the NXT title as the NXT title, the developmental title for the women. And why would Charlotte Flair win the title from developmental that she's already won before? Just I couldn't I couldn't get that out of my head, and it ruined it for me. Because there's no point in it. Charlotte should be going for the SmackDown or the Raw Women's title, not the NXT title. I think if anything, you should have had somebody else from NXT come up and have that NXT match, that NXT Women's title match. But not saying it wasn't a good match though, because it was. I think they work really well together. They kind of have a lot of their similarities, but they're a lot of differences as well, which is a good thing. But yeah, and I hate that submission. I hate it. Stop doing it. It's stupid. It's just knock it off.
Flexible. But he's flexible. Okay.
I don't care. That's like putting you in an armbar and then grabbing your ear. Like, it's not gonna do anything. Stop.
But if you get somebody else to bridge from the other side, bam, bam. Anyway, Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. I'm really trying to take Bobby Lashley seriously, but with Lana on his hip, I can't do it. Like, I need the man is a destroyer. I need MVP. Where he at? I know he backstage dead from the concerto, but still, I need this man out here. I need this man to come out here and promote the fact that this man is a destroyer, not a freaking dude who's gonna get dumped in 2 weeks by Lana. I'm just saying, come on. Also, this was a good point by Trent to say Jamie Boyash probably was the one that produced it because he helped with Matt's thing, and I think he's still with WWE. So that was actually a good point. I keep forgetting about him. But I mean, this would have been like if you put TNA, Impact Wrestling, Bobby Lashley, the man, what was it? The Beast, the Monster, the Animal against this Aleister Black. Just imagine. I mean, I know you wouldn't have liked it, but just imagine, Casey. Just imagine how great this could have been. It was still a good match, but I just can't take big-headed Bobby seriously because he got this the wedding thing, and then the wedding thing happened, and Liv Morgan just went and did her own little thing like that didn't happen. That happened, Liv. That happened, okay? That happened, all right? Aleister Black won with the black mask, of course, as he should have. I mean, come on, man. He's so good. He's good. This man had a freaking beast, monster, animal title run in Impact, dang it. But I just hate, and we were talking about this, we've talked about this before. I was talking about this with a couple of my friends last night about this freaking, the way they do talent when they leave and then they come back. Matt Hardy was the same freaking way. Jeff Hardy's been like that since he's been back. Bobby Lashley's now the next victim of it. EC3 is another one. When you leave WWE and you go somewhere else and then they get mad at you because you came back. Don't get mad. You wanted me back. Treat me like I was treated in Impact. I don't understand. Like why do they have to make you a joke because you left and was better than you? I mean, I guess they're mad because you were better than you were in freaking. They didn't do they counted it to a Christian, but at least they gave Christian a run when he came back. Cause the instant classic Christian Cage was like that. He was like that. Okay, anyway. Thoughts on Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley, man. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Bobby's a beast, man. Put the man again. Why is he not facing Lesnar?
Are you done?
I'm done.
I feel like they didn't do that with Drew McIntyre, though.
True. They did good with Drew.
But I mean, I hate to tell you, even if it was the beast, the monster, the animal, you need to remember that Aleister Black can do a whole match with just his feet and still beat you. Like, he ain't even got to use his hands. He just lift you up with his foot, black mask, you done. Also, if you watch this, your boy looking small though. your boy not looking as big and muscular as he used to. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
What?
maybe it's just me.
It's just you. Have you seen that man? That dude is
He
jacked to the like. When I look at Bobby Lashley, I'm like, that's gonna be me in 10 years. Okay, it's gonna take me that long, but that's gonna be me. That dude is like, what? What are you saying? You're wrong.
he looks small to me. He looks small.
Small.
Also, also terrible choice in gear. Like
Muscle and pants.
he needs to go back to his old gear. He just don't look good in the long tights. It just no, stop it, stop it. You need to know what you look good in, but and you don't look at the good in that. You don't. It looks weird. I don't like it. Also, you lost because you kind of suck in WWE. I'm just saying.
It's not his fault, man. Here go your match of the night, I'm sure. Otis versus Dolph.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take this one. Why Otis got a shirt on if it's only gonna cover the 10% of his body that needs to be covered? Like, what's going on, bro? What's with your boy? He be showing off like that, I guess.
It don't matter what's up with my boy because he be getting the W. And you know, I didn't even really care about the match. I just love his sort of gimmick and the whole storyline and everything. Like this man, just if you ever want to do like a show, like like they did like the Fashion Files and like a couple other like random shows. This man needs a show. Give this man a show. Give this man a show on the WWE network. That oh, I love my boy Otis. I do. I love him. Give him a singles push. Give him the IC title. I mean, I know my boy Sami Zayn got it, but give him the IC title. Yeah.
Did you see Mandy Rose come out here with the woman slap though? I mean, that thing was vicious. That was like SmackDown 1, the woman slap right there. She hit it with that thing. Yeah, I thought this whole feud has been funny. And Dolph's like the typical epitome of Mr. Steal Your Girl, I guess, too. And then how they kind of incorporated Sonya into it, as well. It's weird because on one hand I'm like, so wait, is Sonya dating Dolph? But technically Sonya don't date the men's. So how does that work though? I need to know, WWE. I need to know the logic. I need to know, brother. I need to know. Well, do you have the logic for me? Like I'm just curious.
I mean, I think Sonya Deville, supposed to be her best friend, which clearly that ain't true. She be lying. And she just don't want. She don't want Mandy to be happy with my boy Otis because she knows my boy Otis gonna treat her like a queen, and Sonya she jealous, because I mean. She probably heard, I was talking with Otis backstage the one day, and we was talking about her generic entrance, and she probably got mad about that. She probably got mad, and I don't know, because then Dolph wants Mandy out of nowhere for no reason. Like, bro, what, bro? Just give this man a show. Give my boy Otis a show.
All right,
like call it old time. It's old time, baby. Yeah.
Should we get to the most boring match in the history of WrestleMania history?
We should.
That's just what I heard from other pundits, as they say. Edge versus Randy Orton, the last man standing match. Supposedly the most boring WrestleMania match ever. Live. I enjoyed this match. I liked everything about it. I've loved this feud. It's been personal. Like, I'm not going to say what I want to say because it doesn't sound right in the context of what you say. But anyway, Randy Orton out here, I'm going to say pedigreeing, out here RKOing Beth Phoenix, and he out here. So explain to me, and Concerto and people, explain to me. You can do the Concerto, but you can't do the pumpkin. Huh? Logic. What? I don't understand. How is the punt kick worse than the concerto?
Because you be hitting the other chair. You don't be hitting the head. You be hitting the other
You
chair.
ain't gonna kick the man in the head. You gotta sell it properly. Come on, Casey. You in the business. You understand? Come on. Anyway. I thought this was good. It was physical as it should have been. You know, they took it everywhere they could have. They went to literally everywhere, like literally everywhere they could find. They went to it. It was cool. It was vicious, and you know they were in random offices we never seen before. They went to the weight room, which people had an offense about. You know, like I'll let you get into that you know, when you get into your thoughts because it's pretty ridiculous. But anyway, you know, good. It was a good match though. I thought it was really entertaining. I thought it was interesting to see backstage again, and like it's almost like Randy Orton and Edge have like brought back this ruthless aggression aspect or something. Well, I mean, technically, John Cena brought it back in his little match he had a little later, with the ropeless. Anyway, but but we'll get to that in a little bit. But I enjoyed it though. I thought this was one of the more entertaining matches of the entire card. Personally, I thought it was really good. I thought it was a good blow off to this feud. I think they'll probably continue it. But a last man standing match is like the end of a feud, but I would be surprised if they ended this feud already because it's been so good.
Yeah, I don't know. But to me, this was match of the night. Of night two. Obviously the Boneyard match was the match of night one for me. But this was match of the night for night two. Like you said, the storytelling was perfect. The psychology, the everything they did worked and fit, where it needed to be. And I think this is another match where, not having fans actually kind of helped it, because you could go backstage, you could go all around the NXT arena, you could, or the Performance Center, I should say, which is kind of cool because we don't get that anymore. And I think it's because they want, the wrestlers in front of the crowd the whole time. They don't want them to go backstage and have you watch on the monitor. So the fact that we got to see them go backstage and like through the weight room, through like the hallways by the offices and stuff, so the whole thing with the weight room was apparently, I think it was it Randy that was like hanging Edge, or was it I think
Yeah.
like hanging Edge, and they said something about there was a reference to Chris Benoit. You are stretching really bad if you take that as a direct reference to Chris Benoit, because one, they still don't want to mention him at all, period.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to make a reference to him in a match. Like, why would you do that? I don't understand. But other than that, it was a good match. I like that they went, on top of the pickup truck first, and then the big NXT truck. That was cool that they kind of did stuff off there. The only thing I was upset about is, did you see that big ass ladder that was next to the truck? Like that huge ass ladder? They didn't do nothing with that. Bruh, that was the biggest ladder I've ever seen in my life. I didn't know they made ladders that big. And you ain't did a damn thing with it. Bruh, what's wrong with you?
In terms of the choking incident thing, I mean, it crossed my mind, but like knowing WWE, I wasn't like, yeah, that's a shot. Like WWE has distanced themselves as much as possible as they could from the entire situation. And I think too, the only reason you would even think about it is because that documentary just came out like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So you'd revisit it. You revisit the entire situation. A very good documentary, by the way. Vice did a good job with it. And New Jack's is ridiculous. That man is just crazy out of his mind. But anyway, I thought this match, like, I think I agree. I don't know if this was match of the night for me because technically I think a match that wasn't even really a match was kind of match of the night for me because I just enjoyed it so much. But anyway, we'll get into that. The Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory. I kind of missed this match. My eyes were a little glazed. I ain't gonna lie to you. Zelina was out there, boy. Zelina was out there, boy. She was out there, and my eyes, they just kept going to Zelina. They just kept going, and I couldn't really watch the match because Zelina was, that girl. She. JoJo, you gonna have to come back because Zelina's trying to take my heart out here. She trying to take my heart. JoJo, you have to come back now. Anyway, I did enjoy this match. Austin Theory was an interesting choice to me because I was kind of like, what? Because I know Andrade got hurt or whatever. But why they do that? Well, I guess they couldn't do what's the guy's name? Humberto
Corelli or something.
Yeah, they couldn't do him because they technically don't get along. But they could have did something. They couldn't do Ray because they don't get along either. So I don't know. It just felt like it was kind of out of place, and it was kind of like, well, that's interesting. It's an interesting thought. The Street Profits won, which I think we all expected to happen, and they brought the swag like nobody can. So, Casey, thoughts?
Yeah, they. It's not. No, it's about the cup. It's about the cup. Yeah. I don't know if you know who actually got the win in this match. Who got the penny pin?
Who got it?
Yeah.
Who got it? Was it Zelina? Because that sounds like a C, brother.
No. It was my boy. It wasn't your boy. Oh. It was my boy. But anyway, yeah,
And didn't Bianca Belair technically debut here? Technically, kind of. She was on Raw. She was on Raw. So,
yes and no. But my boy Montez Ford got the penny pin and the penny pin. Not your boy Angelo Dawkins, who had been in NXT for like 14 years before he actually got anything good because he finally got a good tag team partner to carry.
That wasn't his fault. He been carrying his tag teams since. He been carrying his tag teams before. It ain't his fault, bro. It's kind of like JJ. JJ was out here just carrying people, bro.
But yeah, it was awesome to see Austin Theory on Wrestlemania. It was cool seeing Austin Theory in WrestleMania, just because I watched a lot of his stuff on the indies, and I was super excited when I heard he was signed to WWE, so that was kind of cool. Really quick call up though. He's super talented, so I feel like it's well deserved, but it's like how many guys in NXT did you kind of just piss off who have been working their asses off to get to the main roster, and you've been here for kind of a cup of coffee and you're already called up to a WrestleMania match, even though it was kind of like a thrown together Mania match. But I liked it, and my boy retains the tag team titles. So Montez Ford is the Raw Tag Team Champions.
What? Anyway, we had Lacey Evans, Naomi, Sasha Banks, Tamina, and Bayley. Fatal 5-way elimination match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. They really want me to respect Tamina, and she don't ever do nothing. I can't even do it. They really. But I like that this is elimination. I think it made it a little bit more interesting. It was very intriguing to me to get eliminated first because it's to me. Um, how does she get in title matches? She don't ever do nothing. She don't do nothing ever. Bailey would end up retaining. Her and Lacey Evans were the last ones remaining, which was cool to see. I'm waiting on Sasha to turn on Bailey because every time they get together, we just wait for each other to turn on each other. That's just usually how that works. Every time they do it. I'm liking Bailey's little heel thing now, but I haven't seen enough of it to know if I believe it or love it yet. But I like it a little bit at least. But she did retain. Casey, do you have any thoughts on this one?
I just thought it was really predictable to me. I knew it was going to end up being, at the very least, Sasha and Bailey at the end. I figured it would be Lacey Evans as well at the end there, but it was just so predictable. Like, I knew Naomi wasn't going to win. I knew Tamina. Tamina won't, no. It just, yeah, like I said, it was just predictable. But it was good. I like the accidentally kicking Sasha, Bailey accidentally kicking Sasha, and then I think it was Sasha pushed Bailey to get her out of the way of the women's right and took it. So that was kind of teasing them turning on each other, which should have happened at WrestleMania.
But you want the reaction, Casey. You want the reaction.
I would have popped. And I kind of wanted Lacey to win. I'm not gonna lie, I did. I wanted Lacey to win, but no reaction from the crowd, so can't do it.
Anyway, match of the night. Drew McIntyre. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to skip. Match of the night. The Firefly Funhouse match was incredible. It was hilarious. It was the best thing I saw all night. I love this, and I'm still trying to comprehend it in a way because, it felt like Bray, because Bray never actually came out. It felt like Bray was all in his head until they got in the ring, in a way, and that was what I liked about it. And, Bray's like the king of mind games right now, anyway. So it was interesting because it was like Bray had all the control because it was in his realm. And some of the stuff they did, the NWO stuff was cool and it was funny. John Cena kind of going back through old gimmicks, the Doctor of Thugonomics, and also, kind of even the gimmick from before. And even Bray Wyatt going through, his old gimmicks in a way. I don't think he ever quite went back to Husky Harris, but he did do his old, Bray Wyatt gimmick, which was cool. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely a good match. It was probably my favorite. I think it was my favorite out of all of them. It was just entertaining. It was funny. There were some funny moments in it. It was kind of at times a little hard to understand why it was happening the way that it was happening. Was Bray in his head? Was this the way the match was supposed to go? Like, this is what it was supposed to look like? What made this the way that it was? But definitely good. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm glad that Bray, in a way, won the match. He should have won the match at 30, but whatever. Whatever. Anyway, but I hope that they keep him going like he's going, because Bray's just really good at what he does. Like, his promo skills and his ability to, even if you watched it tonight, to play those different characters, not tonight, but last night, to play those different characters, it shows you how talented he really is. And it still doesn't feel like he's reached his potential yet. And it also made me miss original Bray a little bit too when he started it. When they showed the flashbacks and he did a promo as kind of original Bray Wyatt. Like, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, Casey, thoughts?
So
Did you
actually,
turn your light off, or
what's that?
did you turn your light off?
I'm reading something off
Oh,
of
okay.
Reddit that I was gonna
Oh, okay.
share with
That makes sense. That makes
yeah. So I actually found this on Reddit. A user kind of wrote an explanation for the Firefly Funhouse. So basically, it was in John's head the whole time, and it was based on all of his worst fears. So the first one was obviously his debut, and it was him making a bad debut. So that was his fear of making a bad debut. Then the second one was his weird bodybuilding past, with lifting weights that he was doing, and then the his rap career not taking off was one of his fears. So that was when they brought back the Dr. Thugonomics there, and then if he did actually hit Bray with the chair, that was one of his fears. Then the NWO one was if he ever had a heel turn like Hogan. And then finally, the last one was him having to retire, and the fact that he vanished. So it was, like I said, it was all of his worst fears kind of playing out in his head.
And that makes it even that much more interesting because I always felt like it was in his head because Bray never came out, and then he just kind of ended up in the Firefly Funhouse. So I always felt like Bray had the control. It always felt like Bray was like in control of everything.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
The only thing I don't like, what confuses me, is just the WWE thing, because a while back they were like, oh, we're going to the reality era, not as much, weird gimmicks, but more reality. This is the exact opposite. This is like supernatural, weird, like I don't get it. Like, are we being serious with like realistic gimmicks, or are we doing this like weird mind games and
I
like
think you gotta mesh them. You almost have to mesh them because Bray Wyatt might be the most interesting character in WWE, and he has been since he debuted. Really, since they put a microphone in his hands, he's been one of the most interesting characters I think we've seen. So I think you almost have to mesh them in a way, because you almost want that kind of Undertaker, that kind of second Undertaker almost in a way. You want that kind, but he's also different. He also has his little differences about him, his little nuances that make him different. And I still hope that they do. I want them to do the thing where at some point, and I think they have to, and he's not the champion anymore, but at some point, just as Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, I think he should have two separate feuds. Like I think he should do that. They need to do that. They need to play off of the fact that they do use that. That they use him as Bray Wyatt and they use him as the Fiend. They need to play off of that. And it's different because like with Finn, we always felt like Finn and the Demon were the same thing. The Demon just showed up in the biggest moments. Whereas with Bray and the Fiend, they almost play off them as completely opposite of each other. Completely opposite characters from each other, completely opposite people. And I think it would be cool to see Bray do a feud and the Fiend do a feud all at the same time. And I wish they would have done it, for the title, but that kind of failed because.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Can we go back for 2 seconds? So you tell me.
1, 2.
First off, Big Show is challenging Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. Second off, let's say that kind of blew my mind a little bit. Second off, you trying to tell me Goldberg beat Bray Wyatt for the title to lose it to Braun, who wasn't even going to be in the match? What the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Speaking of Drew, can we move on to? I don't. Why? Anyway, Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar. the most underwhelming main event, and it's not even Drew's fault. Like it's just the way they book Brock. The way they book Brock. That's a tongue twister. Um, and we've said this time and time again. I hate saying it because we say it so much, but it's just ridiculous. And it sucks. And even my friends were saying like, these are guys who haven't watched wrestling in years. They feel the same way. They're like, what the heck is that? Why is that? Why is that a thing? Because it's underwhelming that your main event for your biggest show is a 4.5 minute match that was nothing but F5s and Claymores. That's it. That's all it was. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, just have Brock beat him up for goodness sake. If nothing else, have him beat him up, have him suplex him a couple times, F5 him on a table. He didn't do any of that. He just freaking F5'd him 4 times. Drew kicked out. He comes out and Claymores him 4 times, and that was pretty much the match. I mean, that was the legit summary of the match. I don't know how they made it last 4.5 minutes, to be honest. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, and they do it all the time. Like, I don't even mind having Brock be in WWE, but does he have to be champion? Like, does he have to be champion? Like, Seth Rollins could be freaking stealing the show. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's freaking stupid. I hate it. It's just annoying that just because they have this whole ironclad contract thing with Brock Lesnar or whatever, this entertainment contract or whatever the heck it is with Brock, that they gotta do this. Like shoot, at least Ronda felt like she was in a way on that type of a deal, in a way on that type of a deal, but at least she would put on real matches. I mean, like, I don't get it. I just don't understand. Even John Cena, at least the kid, like, he might not show up that much, but at least he'll try to put on a match. Undertaker, he might not be there but once a year, but at least he's gonna freaking give it his freaking all every time. I don't get it. Why do they do this to Brock? And I don't even know if it's Brock's fault. Like, I think Brock's just like, you know what? This is what they want me to do, so this is what I'll do. It was cool when they first came up with Suplex City. It was cool when he was doing it to Taker, but like, then they tried to run with it because he beat Taker off of it. And it's like, and even in the Taker match, it wasn't all suplexes and F5s. That's the issue. Like, it's just like he keeps the title for so long, doesn't do anything with it, doesn't bring anything to the product at all. And then you're just like, well, we got to watch this match. This is the main event. I don't even know if I want to stay to watch it, but I got to because I want to see him get beat. And then he gets beat, and then we start this vicious cycle over again because in 3 or 4 months, he'll have the title again. And we'll be ready for WrestleMania again. And Brock will be main eventing again.
Yep.
Thought.
And I was reading the comments. Trent said that they could have done Bobby Lashley versus Brock instead of Drew, and it would have been a better match. I currently I disagree. I think Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar a couple years ago would have been great. If they booked it right. But just the way they booked them, it would have been the worst match ever because, like you just said, all Lesnar does is F5, 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 2-minute match, done. And they're barely doing anything with Lashley. You wouldn't know it's the same Lashley that was in Impact. You really wouldn't. So I don't think that currently would have been a better match at all, personally. But the one thing, at least we have a champion now that will put on matches that are more than 4.5 minutes and actually be on all the pay-per-views.
I just don't get it, Casey, because Braun in a way is built like Brock, but still puts on better matches than Brock does. Like, they still do more with him than they do with Brock. Like, he might just be just a physical, I'm going to beat you up, which is what Brock is. That's the funny part. Like, because when Brock first came back, off of the MMA run or whatever, they were promoting him as, like, he can literally beat you up, and that was a part of his moveset. And now they've eliminated that. He just looks like he can beat you up. But all he can do is F5 you. If you can reverse that, shoot, if you hit, what is it? I think it's Y now, because WWE is ridiculous. Even in their games, if you can hit Y fast enough, you probably can get out of it because he's going for the same
thing. Yeah.
Terrible. Terrible way to end this show. For a show with so much even Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, if you put it on paper, it looks like a good match. But then you remember what the heck Brock Lesnar's been doing for the past 5 years. Like, pretty much since 31. Because 31 wasn't terrible, but since then it's been awful. And it's been the same repeating cycle. It's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's terrible. It's awful. This is WWE's main eventer right here. And you got AEW sitting over here grinning because they got Cody Rhodes and they got Chris Jericho, who's freaking, I don't even know, he's probably older than Brock. And he's putting on better matches than Brock is. That's ridiculous. That's freaking ridiculous. It's dumb, dude. Like, I don't understand it. I can't even grasp what's going on. Like, freaking Tessa Blanchard's out here outclassing Brock as Impact World Champion. I don't get it. What are you doing?
It's because of his contract. He doesn't have to put on good matches. He's going to get paid either way. He has that ironclad contract that, like,
and they backed themselves into a corner with it. They've just
shows up for 4 shows a year, and then, you know.
I just wish, like, they would have said, you got to work 4 shows a year, but you got to work your butt off in those shows. And honestly, I don't think it's his fault. I think this is what they want to do. This is what they want. It's the same crap they do with Roman. They let Roman come out here, do his couple of moves, and they're done with it. And even with Cena in a way too. They did the same thing with him for a while. And then when they put him up against the challenge like Kevin Owens, and then they expanded we actually saw what he could freaking do, then we're like, well, wait a minute. This is John Cena? Are you kidding me? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, do you have any more thoughts on this show? I can't deal with Brock anymore. And like, Heyman can't promote him up any more than like, okay, you beat Taker, but what have you done since? What have you done since you beat Taker? Like, beating Taker, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I wish you hadn't done it, but like, I won't ever forget that moment. Ever. Nobody will. Nobody will ever forget that moment. You got the most memorable moment probably in wrestling history. Probably. I mean, if we talked about the top 5 most memorable moments, that and Hogan turning, they're right up there together somewhere. Like, but are you
also what I didn't like is, like, obviously I didn't like that Taker lost to Lesnar because I still to this day don't think that was the right choice. I just don't. But also, they almost immediately like hit the reset button, and now Taker's winning every WrestleMania match that he's in again. And it's like, did you just reset the streak? Like, what are you doing?
And I think they should have, whenever Taker was going to lose, it should have been a streak versus career match. And that's it. Because regardless of who it was going to be, whether it would have been AJ, whether it had been Cena, whether it had been some young person they wanted to put over, even if it would have been Brock, it should have been some sort of like, this is the end. Like, this is what Taker shows up for. And in our minds, coming into WrestleMania 30, it'll never happen. So then when it happens, we're freaking in shock and awe. And then, because we've talked about it before, we didn't think there was any reason for Taker to even come back after that. Because, like, That's his whole thing. His whole thing was the streak. You know, like that was he even said it in his documentary in the first look I watched last night. The streak was the reason he came back every year. That was the reason that fans would allow him to and not boo him out of the building because of the streak. Because that's because it had taken a life of its own. Like it had taken its own thing. Like that should have been the end of it. Like that I still to this day think even I don't care if it was Brock. That should have been the end of it. It should have ended there.
I still, to this day, would love to have seen it be like to end his career be like The Rock or something. Because if you think about it, The Rock is the only person he hasn't had only legend or whatever you want to say that hasn't had a match with Taker at WrestleMania. Like Triple H, Austin, Shawn Michaels. That was always weird to me that The Rock never had a WrestleMania match with Taker. Taker had a WrestleMania match with freaking Big Show and A-Train. Let that sink in. But not The Rock. What?
Oh, goodness. Anyway, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up. But we will be back with some other things. We promise. We're not just lying this time. We're not just saying it and then coming up with ideas and then never doing them. I think at worst, I think we'll discuss a weekly show, and we might just do a weekly show where we just talk about random crap in wrestling. What's going on. Because I don't like I said before, I don't know if we're watching enough consistently to do reviews. But we might just talk about kind of, like we've done before with the state of wrestling a little bit. We might talk about kind of how this whole, virus is affecting everything. And, we might just come on here and just talk, about whatever. We might just make it up,
Also, I'm going to try to get DJ on another show that I'm co-hosting sometime in the near future. It's on it's a podcast called New York Chats on, I forgot the app we use.
Anchor.
What's that?
Anchor,
yes. So New York Chats on Anchor. So we've been talking a lot about the coronavirus. That's mostly what we talk about, and then how Donald Trump is a moron. But we also wanted to talk about entertainment during the coronavirus. So pro wrestling, obviously, DJ works for a news station and was doing the sports until the coronavirus hit. So that would be something that we definitely want to talk about, kind of, what's the state of, sports going to be like when it finally ends, when, this virus finally goes away. So hopefully we'll get him on soon, but definitely check that out. And like he said, we'll be back to talk more about wrestling and things. It's just going to be hard because there's so much that's not happening anymore with the virus going on. So we'll have to just do, discussions and things like that. But yeah.
But anyways, we'll get ready to sign off. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, ICWP_podcast. Subscribe. Give us a like so we know that you enjoyed the video, so we can come back and do more. But I definitely think we're thinking about ideas. We just gotta actually sit down and do
them. Yeah. We probably have 38 ideas that we haven't done.
Plus, when Google Plus kind of kicked us off, it kind of screwed us a little bit. They messed it up. It's their fault. Anyway. And then Impact moved channels 8 times since then. So. But anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate
on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
Appreciate our commenters, at least Louise, Trent, and RC Reacts. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys. Adios.
Oh yeah.
The tamer there, brothers.